If I haven't met you yet, my name is Lauren Pierce. I am the Director of the Office of Research Development. I've been here since July 1, so some of you I think started this fall, some of you have been here longer than I have. And I am looking forward to getting to know and work with you, not just this semester, but over the course of your career, because you will all have wonderful long careers with lots of external funding, or at least that's what I hope. So my office is here to help people find and apply for external funding for your research projects, pedagogical projects, scholarship projects, whatever you're doing in your role at JMU, we are here to help you find funding to enable you to do that better. And so I'm going to introduce two wonderful folks that are here who also work with my office. We have Holly Yanisek. Yes, representing College of Arts and Letters, because NSF does fund social science as well. Holly is our Research Development Associate for Cal. She is also a professor in German Studies in the World Languages and Cultures Department, and is an all-around wonderful person. And we also have Carolina Miller here, who is our Research Development Associate for SIZE, and she is very knowledgeable about everything with grants, and also a wonderful person. So if you are in Cal or if you're in SIZE, you'll also be working closely with those two. I know folks are here from CSM. We're still setting something up for science and mathematics. We love you guys. You're not forgotten about. So in terms of what this looks like, this is the first time we've tried a career working group. So feel free to give feedback, and you don't have to wait until the July whatever day after you turn in your thing to tell me how you think this is going. We can adjust on the fly. So the plan is we have a sequence of meetings roughly twice a month, and I've tried to bring in experts for most of the meetings on some particular bit of the career application. So for the data management plan, JMU Libraries will be joining us. For budget, Office of Sponsored Programs will be joining us. We have some former NSF program officers, Dr. Whitmire, we have Dr. Shanker, and we have Dr. Capaldi here who will be leading us through different parts of it. So we have a mix of those sorts of activities and some just sit down, write, do something activities. Whether that's working with Science CV to put together your bio sketch, the DMP tool for your data management plan, and then I know everyone's a little bit busy during teaching, so I've heard. Maybe? No, you guys all have tons of time. And then during the, during spring break and after the semester ends, we'll have some dedicated time kind of set aside for writing sessions, try and get some coffee, try and reserve room with windows, and have time and space to just sit down and write. When you signed up, you may have noticed that we do have some kind of check-in points where if you have project narrative done by this date, if you have the proposal done by this date or whatever, my office will be reading it, giving some feedback, doing some formatting checks at the end to make sure it's not going to get thrown out because your font size is wrong. No one wants that. So that's kind of the setup for this, at least as we're going to try it. And like I said, love to get feedback. This is new for us. So the plan for today is I'm going to start with just a very short overview of NSF CAREER and some of the related programs to NSF CAREER, but then I'm going to hand it over to, we have two experts today. We have Dr. Gina McDonald, who is a former CAREER, or actually PCASE winner, who will tell you a little bit about her experience, but mostly is here for Q&A to hear your questions and answer them. And then Dr. Capaldi is also going to walk us a little bit through the NSF procedures, especially the review procedures, how that works. Sound good? Yeah. Okay. And be bold, ask questions. I will say we are recording this mostly because we know some of you, this is the only one you can make because of your teaching. We will be sharing it with the other folks who can't make it this week, other weeks, but have registered. And if speakers agree, we might be taking bits and pieces of it to put on the on our website for folks to look at asynchronously. Sound good? Okay, if you object, let me know and we'll make sure to adjust. Okay, so I just kind of wanted to give a little bit of a starting overview. You're all here because you're interested in NSF CAREER, I hope. No one's a student that got lost. Okay, you always have to ask at the beginning of the semester. Okay, so what is NSF Career? Well, this is what the NSF itself says about it. It's a foundation-wide activity that offers the National Science Foundation's most prestigious awards in support of early career faculty who have the potential to serve as academic role models in research and education and to lead advances in the mission of their department or organization. Breathe. So I just want to highlight a few things there and break that down to what that actually means. So the first thing is foundation-wide. That means any area of research that NSF funds is eligible. So I hope we have people representing, I know we have some CAL folks, we have some SCIES folks, we have some CSM folks. These are the 8 directorates of the NSF, which I know Dr. Capaldi will be talking about a little bit more. But that includes education. If there are any College of Ed folks here, that includes the SPE, that's where Cal usually finds itself, engineering, geo, computer, bio, math, physics, wide range of stuff. Okay. Something about the career is, and the reason why you probably want to pay attention to those directorates and divisions is that when you apply for an NSF career, you have to direct it to a core program that lives in one of those directorates, and most likely lives in a division within one of those directorates. If you're not sure what the core program that you want to apply to is, that's okay. You don't need to know that before you start. It can be helpful sometimes. We can browse through and chat today. You can also send your one-page project summary to a program officer and ask for their advice. You could talk to folks around. There are lots of ways to figure out what core program to apply to. Okay. The other thing here is early career faculty. So hopefully, if you're thinking about NSF Career, you are early career. If you're not sure what that means, first of all, you have to have your doctoral degree by the deadline, so which is the middle to end of July. You have to not yet have tenure, and you have to basically be 50% tenure track. It says or equivalent. If you're not tenure track, but you think you might be in something that the NSF thinks is equivalent, definitely come talk to someone and talk to a program officer. Yes?
I have a question about that, because in the past it used to be 5 years of appointment. I'm assuming that has changed.
This is from the current solicitation, direct from that, so,
and
yeah.
For me, it's like, can you have applied for tenure and not have been awarded tenure?
I believe so. It's as of the deadline, you have to be untenured. So if you are in your
deadline of submission.
Deadline of submission, so that would be middle. I think it's the 27th, something around there this year. Mm-hmm. I know that I do have some people checking about exactly when tenure takes effect for JMU if you are applying this year.
Yeah, I'm not, but I'm thinking ahead.
Okay, in terms of thinking
how
ahead.
many rounds I have, basically.
Yeah, and that gets to this last one. You can have had no more than 2 career awards previously reviewed, which means that basically you can apply a maximum of 3 times in practice. And obviously if you've already won a career award, you're not eligible. If that's you, congratulations. I'm not sure why you're here, you should lead it. The other thing that I want to point out, something that makes career maybe a little bit different from a lot of NSF things, is this research and education. That they really want to see those 2 components and also that they're tied together. So if you've applied for an NSF grant before or thought about it, you probably know that in the project description section, you need to talk about your research project, you need to talk about broader impacts. For NSF Career, they also ask that you have an educational activities section. And furthermore, that you discuss how that's integrated with your research. Okay, so that's maybe a little bit different. That's easy to miss because it is still evaluated under the usual merit review criteria. You know, if you copy and paste the merit review criteria for career and compare it to generic NSF program, it looks almost the same. But looking at the slides and the materials, they really emphasize that as part of that merit review criteria, they are going to be looking at those educational activities. They are going to be looking at how they're integrated with your research. And there are a lot of different ways that can look like, and we're going to have Zarina Aga, Dr. Zarina Aga from College of Ed talking to us about that in a few weeks. because this is an area that she feels like she really understands from her experience applying for career and receiving one. The last thing, this is I don't want to scare you off, but I also don't want you to waste any of your 3 trials. Emphasis on prestige, academic role model, leadership. So one of the things to ask is, are you ready to apply for a career award? And don't run out the door if you decide no, because there are some other things I want to highlight. These are for single PI projects, and the NSF itself, I grabbed this language from their description, integrated, innovative, and ambitious in both research and education. And so they advise you before you start thinking about applying to ask whether so far in your career you've demonstrated some sort of commitment to research and education. Okay? So if the only time you taught is fall, you might not be ready yet, or you might be. And they suggest discussing your ideas, both education and research, with mentors, peers, and program directors. They're really not that scary. So I do want to point out, there are some NSF kind of pre-career programs. They're supposed to help researchers get on a path, prepare them to be in a position to submit really, really competitive and hopefully successful career proposals. These are usually for researchers at institutions where they know that there are maybe some unique challenges to putting together the sort of application that most folks applying for career competitively have. So I do want to highlight 4 of these programs. That the first 3 are open to early career researchers at R2 institutions. JMU, of course, is emerging R2. So if you are in the math and physical sciences, there's LEAPS, and at least 3 of you I've already contacted. And that one, if you looked at it in December, it said archived. A new solicitation did go out yesterday morning. So that is open again, and the due date is April 17th. CREE, Computer Information Science and Engineering Research Initiation Initiative, is for more computer science. And then there's BRC Bio. That one is currently still archived. That's for researchers in the biological sciences. But having communicated with the program officer, we are expecting a new solicitation for that one. Date TBD. Another one, so that covers computer science, math and physical sciences, bio. I do want to highlight another one that's for researchers at R2 institutions in engineering. That's the Engineering Research Initiation. That one, though, is not specifically early career. So that is for anyone at R2 who is looking to kind of jumpstart their engineering research. And if you decide that one of these is a better fit for you, don't hit the door. Most of them have, especially those first 3, have basically the same structure as the NSF Career, the same sort of components. And so you are still welcome here. NSF Career Working Group was already long enough, but we aren't going to kick you out if you decide. Yes?
I have a question. I wonder for those like pre-career opportunities, like if you already get a career like grant, can you still apply for this pre-career?
You know, that's a good question. I believe for LEAPS, I'm pretty sure the answer is no. I think a lot of them, the answer is no, but I'm not sure for all of them. That's a great question. I'll look through.
Okay.
I'm going to have a sign-in sheet before
So
you guys leave.
It's better to apply for this pre-career.
Yeah. You know, and a lot of these describe themselves as kind of, all 3 of those describe them as programs to kind of help researchers get to a position to apply competitively for a career.
Okay.
So, and that's why I'm calling them pre-career.
Okay.
So. Okay. Yeah, like I said, these have a similar application structure for career. So if you decide, either now or as you start preparing, that one of them is a better fit for you, you are more than welcome here. Okay. Can I apply to both career and one of these? That's another question I sometimes get asked. Not with the same project, basically. So it's unless you have lots and lots that you're doing, you probably need to pick one or the other. Okay. And I do just want to highlight that there are also early career opportunities outside of NSF. Obviously, those applications will look a little bit different. But as you think about sources of funding, you might want to consider some non-NSF career ones, or non-NSF early career opportunities. For one thing, more chances of funding, you know, that's always nice. More feedback on your proposals. I will say some of these are private foundations, and they're not always the best at giving feedback. But the more people who look at your proposal, the more opportunities for feedback you could get. You're making faces.
My experience is that private foundations are worse at feedback.
Okay.
Award. That's just my experience.
And then, of course, remember that it said about establishing yourself as an academic role model and a leader. So one way of doing that is by having a diverse array of funding opportunities that you've already successfully competed for. Where can you find these? Honestly, the best one is to look at past career awardees in your field and see what else they were awarded. We also have on my office's webpage, under funding opportunities, we have an early career list. Let me see if this thing still works. Okay. So if you've never seen my office's webpage, here is the finding opportunities and resources here. And here we have early career opportunities kind of broken out by roughly subfield, just so it wasn't too overwhelming. So for example, if you are in chemistry, here are some early career ones from the Petroleum Research Fund run by the American Chemical Society. A few other opportunities here, so feel free to take a look at those. And somehow I can get back to full screen, I hope. We'll just do that. Okay. Last thing, when I introduced Dr. McDonald, I noted that she was a PCASE awardee. If you're wondering what that is, that stands for Presidential Early Career Awards for Scientists and Engineers. That is an even more prestigious award than just the NSF Career. It is run by 10 federal government agencies who each give out awards. There is one additional criteria for it, for consideration, which is that you have to be a U.S. citizen, permanent resident, or a U.S. national. You do not have to be a citizen, national, or permanent resident to apply for career. So if you are on some sort of temporary visa, a U.S. Institution, like an H-1B or something, you can apply for career. You cannot apply for PCASE. But in terms of what you have to do if you're eligible for it, you just have to upload a single page with that sentence. So doesn't make it any harder. Okay.
So
And
this is like in addition to the NSF career, that you can provide an additional page.
and you will be considered for PCASE.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So
Only for PCASE and not for
no,
regular
you'll still
career?
be,
Both.
yeah, you'll be considered for career. So my understanding is they kind of, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that they sort of decide the career people first. And then of the like top rated career folks decide who is awarded PCASE. So you can't apply to PCASE with the NSF without applying for career. Different agencies run their PCASEs a little bit differently. So if you wanted to apply for the Department of Ag PCASE, I actually don't know how that works. I'll find out if you need me to though.